It's been helpful to me, and perhaps it will be helpful to other people, to remember the connection excuse me, between blocks of thought and feelings.
Good.
They're inextricably linked.
Good.
There's no way to separate them. And so that's been very helpful to me, to remember that a feeling is attached to a whole clump of thoughts, if you want to think of it that way, instead of a block. And so it's not always necessary to try to unravel it as much as it is to experience the feeling, and if it's a good one, to savor it. If it's not a good one, then to again, this is difficult to put into words.
We would say it is not... First, let us ask you some questions. Which comes first, the clump of thought or the feeling?
They come together in my experience.
They come so much together that you can't tell the difference, but we will say to you the thought comes first and the feeling is your response to the thought, your inner being's response to the clump. We rather like that. What about you? This fluid, very flexible, very bulky clump. Acknowledging that they come simultaneously, one just ahead of the other, but from your perspective simultaneously, we agree with you that it is very cumbersome to try to intellectually unravel. In fact, usually you get off on a wild goose chase and you lose your place, and no good comes from it. But if you will allow yourself to emotionally unravel it, which just means pay more attention to the way that you are feeling, and then say, I'm wanting to understand why this feeling has come forth, then your inner being can offer you a block of thought that you can decipher more carefully. Remember, friends, you are all receivers of blocks of thought.
That's the step I was missing. A negative feeling, or not even a terribly negative feeling, but let's say a less than positive feeling. I was not doing the next step, which is ask for a clarification to help me unravel.
Imagine if you could have sat in on some of the early sessions with Abraham, you would have a very good time there, for it was far less articulate than now, for we were offering Esther clumps of thought that were much smaller, sometimes clumps that could be deciphered in only one word, yes or no. Where now, the unit of thought sometimes will take her 20 minutes to unravel in words. When you say a word such as relationship, one little word, it would take you days, weeks, sometimes months to articulate all that that one word really means to you, you see. And so the block of thought that is within you is much bigger than this little tip of the iceberg that is up here that you call language. And yet so many of you depend upon your language as if it means everything when it means almost nothing. The block of thought that is within you is what is far more significant. Understanding that, then you are wanting to decipher what the blocks of thoughts are within you. Now, there are two ways to go about it. You can operate on yourself. You can ask yourself 1,000 questions in trying to unravel it, or you can look at what you're living and say, the blocks of thought that are within me are exactly comparable to what I am living. That is really an easier way of going about it. And then as you begin acknowledging the parts of yourself that you are appreciating, then the blocks of thought that aren't in harmony with that leave. So that there you sit as a unit or a being that is all that which is in harmony with what you are wanting. Now going back to this idea of us offering in units of thought that was small enough that Esther could decipher it in yes or no. If you were sitting in on a session such as that, we would listen to you and you would say, Abraham, something is bothering me. And we would say, and you would say, and I don't know what it is. And we would say, and you would say, but I really want to figure out what it is. And we would say, and you would say, it could be this. And we would say, And you'd say, or it could be this, and we would say. And you would say, but then the other day this happened, which kind of leads me to believe that it might be something to do with this, and we would say. And then you would say, it is that, and we would say. And you would say, well, I want to know what to do about it, and we would say. And you would say, but I don't know what to do about it, and we would say. You'd say, but I want to know, and we would say. And you would say, I think I can figure it out, and we would say. And you would say, and I think you can help us, and we would say. You would say, well, maybe what I should do is, and we would say. You see, we are sitting here responding to you in a way that you say, yes, I received tremendous help from Abraham, and all we are doing is the same thing that your own emotional guidance system gives you, you see. Except that you forget to respond emotionally or to unravel it emotionally. You try to unravel it intellectually, and then you get bogged down in it. You see how it works? Are we having a good time? Good. Something else, and then we'll hear from you. Something else that we are wanting you to realize is that your interpretation of the blocks of thought that you receive will be infinitely more poignant and perfect for you than anything that you will hear through this vessel. Because your inner being knows everything that you have ever thought about everything. Your inner being knows the balance of thoughts within you. Your inner being is absolutely aware of you intricately. And so you and you having this interchange will be infinitely more satisfying and speedier than you having it with Abraham through Esther. Once you begin to acknowledge your own guidance system and trust it, you see, you really have a good combination going there.
So these blocks of thoughts, as they present themselves, are what people used to call the character of a thing. It presents a character, an aspect, an overall view, a picture that the universe can respond to.
Good. That is very good.
So what you do when at each positive aspect junction is change the character, the overall balance, the total sum, the aspect of it that the universe now responds to as a unit.
Good.
So where does music come in? No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Music is a language. It evokes emotions. It can lead to poignant, rich, satisfying, beautiful insights. And many times I see other people as, this is going to sound odd, but as music.
You are really strange indeed. While we are all very normal here. Music is language, is it not? In other words, all music does not bring with it the same block of thought. All music does not carry with it the same message. Music is resonating. What music really is, music without words, we'll say first, the song without words. What it is the artist or the writer's capturing the essence of the way he is feeling or his block of thought, and then others are receiving it. Very often, what they are receiving, you are wanting to close the door. Very often, there is too much music out there. Very often, what you are receiving as a listener is precisely what the one who wrote it felt as he wrote it. And music is a way of expressing emotion or blocks of thought that go far beyond words. That is why some of them reach you and some of them don't. It depends upon the passion or the clarity of the artist, you see. It is true of that which is painted upon the canvas. And you have so many ways of expressing blocks of thought other than through words.
Then it seems that listening to music in this way is an attitude. And
is a what?
An attitude, which is like a character of something. So if I looked at any event, I can choose to look at it with a certain attitude
there
that can enrich it, and that's right.
You see, you're exactly right. The tendency is, because you've been action-oriented beings who are creating from the outside, always giving blame or credit somewhere outside of you, then your tendency is to say, I could live a happy life if I had a partner that was different. And then the next question is, Abraham, this one does this and this and this and this and this. Do you think I should get out of this relationship? And sometimes we say, probably is a good idea. But we say, as we said to Esther, remember you are taking yourself with you. If you are leaving this relationship because there is negative present, then you'd better get out of this town too. Negative here. And you'd better get out of this country and out of this world and out of this universe. Now we don't know where to send you. Because there is positive and negative within every being, within every particle, within every aspect, within every subject. There is a balance of positive and negative. But you get to choose what you focus upon and what you attract unto you.
Because everything has to be totally free, or nothing can be totally free. And we know
freedom abounds. Only your acknowledgement of it does not always. You exist in such a state of freedom that the very balance of your thoughts attracts unto you. You cannot be freer than that. You acknowledge freedom. You feel at your freest when you feel good. Is that not true? And we'll tell you why. Because your inner being exists in this place of perfect balance. Your inner beings are in ecstasy. Your inner being exists in this place of knowing his freedom, his growth. And so when you are focused upon something that makes you feel restricted, now there's conflict going on within you because the true you is free, and in this moment you are not acknowledging that you are free. And so that feeling of confinement is nothing more than resistance. Everything that you know as negative emotion is resistance. All illness is resistance. Every time you're not getting something you want, it is because you are resisting, you see. Resistance is opposing thought. You are utilizing the energy of the universe, only you are sending part of it in one direction and part of it in another direction. And so there is a tug of war that is going on within you. And you are one who so much from your inner perspective acknowledges that you are absolutely free, that even the slightest little thought that you're not free sends you crazy, does it not? Yes. Let someone tell any of you you can't do something or you shouldn't do something, and what happens? The hair on the back of your neck stands up. You get bigger and stronger and you want to shout, just watch me. In other words, are those not fighting words? Someone saying you can't do something? The reason is because you have spent lifetimes acknowledging that you can do or be or have anything that you choose. That there is nothing outside, and so somebody outside of you saying, you can't, brings forth automatic resistance within you. Now that is an issue that we're wanting to talk about for a moment. Because anything that brings that resistance up means that there is an unsettled issue within you. In other words, when Esther reaches the place that she can hear the word cancer or watch it on the television or even acknowledge somebody with it and have no emotional response to it, then she's not in a place of resistance. Are you understanding? And so what you are wanting to do, your work, we've said it before, we will say it now in the context of what we've been talking about here today. Your greatest work is finding your place of feeling good. There is nothing that you can do that is more important than that. Sometimes action leads you to feel good. Sometimes talking to somebody leads you to feel good. But mostly wanting to feel good is what leads you to feel good. Mostly acknowledging that there is data out there for all of it, and then targeting something that does make you feel good gets that momentum. And then what will happen is you will find it will be easier to feel good. It will be easier to feel good, and the other will be very strange to you. You see, here is the process. We can offer it to you in 30 seconds. Make a statement of desire, I want. And what that automatically does is pinpoint the particle that you're going to make bigger. It might already be big and it might just be a particle, but that identifies what you want. And it also alerts your guidance system. Two very important functions. Now your guidance system is alerted. Anything that is within you or anything that will come to you that is not now in harmony with what you have said I want, you will be notified of it. And as you're notified of it, then you can simply release that thought from your experience by focusing again upon what you want. That is the way you bridge or alter your beliefs. You say, I want. That turns on your guidance system. You move through life experience. You're sensitive to the way you feel. You feel negative emotion. You pinpoint the conflict. You focus again upon what you want, and the conflict goes away. That is the process for bridging beliefs, or for changing the clump of thoughts within you so that they all go together well. until eventually you come to believe that which you are wanting to believe.